Very good afternoon. This is the Midday News on Rajya Sabha TV. I am Ashwarya with you. Here are the headlines. We saved the economy from disaster, laid a strong foundation for $5 trillion economy, asserts Prime Minister Modi at ASSOCHAM's annual conference. Also says our government listens to farmers, labourers and corporate world. Final phase of elections for 16 seats underway in Jharkhand. 28.24% voting recorded till 11 a.m. 237 candidates, including Hemant Soren, in the fray. Niti Aayog to draft a roadmap to stabilize population. Prime Minister Modi had flagged explosive population growth in his Independence Day speech. Rajnath Singh and S. Shankar meet US President Donald Trump in Oval Office. Talks included bilateral issues of cooperation on anti-terrorism, H-1B visas and free trade in Indo-Pacific. And cold wave unabated in North India. Delhi records coldest day of the season. Dense fog hits air and rail traffic. A top story this afternoon. Polling is underway for the fifth and final phase of Jharkhand Assembly elections in 16 constituencies of the state. And till 1 p.m., 30.49% voting was recorded. The polling that began at 7 in the morning in all assembly segments will end at 3 p.m. in 5 assembly constituencies of Borio, Barhet, Litipara, Maheshpur and Sikaripara, and in the remaining 11 seats, the voting will continue till 5 p.m. The Election Commission has set up over 8,000 ballot units, more than 6,000 control units and around 7,000 VVPAT machines. Jharkhand Chief Electoral Officer said that as many as 133 polling stations have women's staff, while more than 1,300 have webcasting facilities. 237 candidates, including 29 women, are in the fray in this phase. Prominent among them are Jharkhand ministers Louis Marandi and Randhir Singh, and JMM leader Hemant Soren and Congress leader Alamgir Alam. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier this morning urged people to exercise their franchise in the final phase of Jharkhand elections. In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi asked people to participate in this festival of democracy and vote in large numbers. And on to some other news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that his government has laid a strong foundation for a $5 trillion economy. Speaking at ASSOCHAM's annual conference, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that before 2014, the country was heading towards a disaster. But his government not only stabilized the economy, but also tried to discipline it.
$5 ट्रिलियन की अर्थव्यवस्था की बात अचानक आई है, ऐसा नहीं है। बीते 5 वर्षों में देश ने खुद को इतना मजबूत किया है कि इस तरह के लक्ष्य रखे भी जा सकते हैं और उन्हें प्राप्त भी किया जा सकता है। भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था तय नियमों से चले, तय लक्ष्यों की तरफ बढ़े, इसके लिए हमने व्यवस्था में आधारभूत परिवर्तन किए हैं, चौतरफा फैसले लिए हैं, उद्योग जगत की दशकों पुरानी मांगों को पूरा करने पर ध्यान दिया है और इसलिए आज $5 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी के लिए एक मजबूत आधार बना है।
Talking about the Indian tax system, Prime Minister Modi stated that the country is moving towards a faceless assessment in order to ensure that there is transparency, efficiency and accountability in the tax system.
जब तक पूरा देश मिलकर के लक्ष्य तय नहीं करता है, लक्ष्य को पार करने के लिए मिलकर के नहीं चलता है, लक्ष्य को पार करने के लिए अपनी अपनी जिम्मेवारियों में सक्रियता नहीं लाता है, तो वो एक सरकारी कार्यक्रम बन जाता है। मुझे खुशी है कि आजकल अर्थव्यवस्था को गति देने वाले जितने ही समूह हैं, हर कोई 5 ट्रिलियन वाली बात को मध्य में रख करके चर्चा करता है। अधिकतम लोग यार कोशिश तो करनी चाहिए, यार करे तो हो भी सकता है, अरे यार नेगेटिव क्यों सोचो, चलो यार कुछ करते हैं। मतलब कि लक्ष्य तय हुआ है तो लक्ष्य पार करने का मन भी तैयार हो रहा है, और यही मन है जो आज यहां इकट्ठा हुआ है, वो उसको पार करेगा। सरकार का अचीवमेंट नहीं होता है, ये देशवासियों का अचीवमेंट होता है।
And praising the role of the central government in listening to farmers, laborers and the corporate world, Prime Minister Modi assured to formalize and modernize the Indian economy. The Prime Minister further said that the government is on track to decriminalize offences under the Indian Companies Act and is working to remove the inverted duty structure.
साथियों, आज देश में वो सरकार है जो किसान की भी सुनती है, मजदूर की भी सुनती है, व्यापारी की भी सुनती है, उद्योग जगत की भी सुनती है, उनकी आवश्यकताओं को समझने का प्रयास करती है, उनके सुझावों पर संवेदनशीलता के साथ काम करती है। डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन बढ़ाने के लिए तमाम उपायों से लेकर जीएसटी तक, आधार लिंक पेमेंट से लेकर डीबीटी तक, हमने अर्थव्यवस्था के ज्यादातर आयामों को फॉर्मल व्यवस्था में लाने का प्रयास किया है। इसके साथ ही हम अर्थव्यवस्था को आधुनिक टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल करते हुए मॉडर्नाइज और स्पीड अप करने की दिशा में भी आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। आज भारत दुनिया के उन टॉप 10 देशों में शामिल है जिसने ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस की रैंकिंग में पिछले 3 वर्षों में लगातार सबसे अच्छा सुधार किया है।
Vice President Venkaiah Naidu today released the book Turbulence and Triumph: The Modi Years. The book is jointly authored by Rahul Agarwal and Bharati S. Pradhan. And addressing the gathering, Venkaiah Naidu praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi for making extraordinary transition from an ordinary man with a humble background to become a popular Prime Minister. He added that the Prime Minister is translating the vision of Mahatma Gandhi into reality through several schemes.
Force of self-confidence, bravery, and tenacity that Sri Narendra Bhai Modi made the extraordinary transition from an ordinary man with a humble background to become a popular Prime Minister of the world's largest and most vibrant democracy. India's outreach to the world has been enhanced under his leadership. I am happy to note that the world is recognizing and respecting India much more than earlier. The Prime Minister, I feel, is translating the vision of Mahatma Gandhi into a reality through several schemes such as Swachh Bharat, Make in India, Skill India, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, the initiatives on environmental protection.
The Vice President also asserted that violence is an act of destruction.
The Parliament and Legislature should devote their time for discussion, debate and decision, not for disruption, obstruction. The time for construction, not for obstruction or destruction, because it is our own country, our own society. If you burn the buses, who is going to be affected? Not the transport minister. It is your own future. You will be taxed and sending a message. And then violence is not going to achieve. Some people still carry that outdated ideology that power will come through barrel of the gun. Nothing. Ballot is more powerful than bullet.
Reflecting his deep interest in strengthening US-India partnership, US President Donald Trump on Wednesday met visiting Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar in Washington. The leaders held discussions on the progress of various issues that matter to both the nations. During the meeting, which lasted for over 30 minutes in the Oval Office of the White House, President Donald Trump recollected his joint appearance with the Prime Minister Modi at the Howdy Modi event in Houston this September. Winding up his 3-day visit to Washington, D.C. after attending the 2+2 meeting, Jaishankar said that the meeting was largely in the nature of a courtesy call.
So some discussion on visa issues, legislation, some discussion on CATSA, some discussion on, they wanted my perspective on the Citizenship Amendment Act. So I kind of gave them a more accurate picture than they've been getting from whatever they read.
Meanwhile, in a joint statement issued after the 2+2 dialogue between India and the US, the two countries have asked Pakistan to take immediate and irreversible action to ensure that no territory under its control is used for terrorism against other nations. Both India and US also asked Pakistan to prosecute the perpetrators of cross-border terror attacks, including Mumbai and Pathankot strikes. On to some other news now. President Ramnath Kovind chaired the National Committee for the commemoration of 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi at Rashtrapati Bhavan on Thursday. And speaking on the occasion, the President lauded the efforts of the Prime Minister for providing personal leadership to initiatives like the Swachh Bharat and spreading Bapu's teachings for protecting the environment through various initiatives. And at the event, Prime Minister Modi said that all citizens need to imbibe Gandhian thought and vision in their lives. He added that it is the responsibility of every citizen to keep reminding the world of the relevance of Mahatma Gandhi and his vision. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with his Portuguese counterpart Antonio Costa in New Delhi on Thursday. Both leaders discussed a broader roadmap for strengthening bilateral relations in areas like defense, science and technology, and trade. The Portuguese Prime Minister is visiting India on Prime Minister Modi's invitation to attend the second meeting of the Organizing Committee for the celebrations of the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi.
Prime Minister thanked him first to be associated with this important occasion for us, for all of us. Among the issues, the trade and investment, I think, was discussed, and especially in the context of Make in India, Prime Minister did mention to Prime Minister Costa the opportunities which are available in India in different sectors, and he urged the Portuguese companies that they should make use of the opportunities available in India, including cheap labor, to come and invest in India. There was no agreement. It's a working visit. It was not a full bilateral visit. The purpose of the visit was to attend the organizing committee meeting to celebrate, the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi.
Government think tank Niti Aayog will today hold a national consultation on population stabilization. The meet is going to explore ways to strengthen the country's population policy and family planning programs. The meet is being held in collaboration with the Population Foundation on the topic Realizing the Idea of Population Stabilization, Leaving No One Behind. The officials will brainstorm over recommendations like treating population stabilization and family planning as a national priority and ensuring intergovernmental convergence and multi-sectoral participation and increasing budgetary allocations for family planning. The suggestions of the conference will help in realizing the call of Prime Minister Narendra Modi that he had made on 15th of August this year to keep the country's population stable. In midday news, time for a very short break. I will be right back with more news. Don't go anywhere.
Under the One Nation, One Tax scheme, having the FASTag RFID tag on a four-wheeler in India has become mandatory.
It is a system for electronic toll collection where the vehicle envisages that it can cross the toll plaza without stopping to save the time of passenger and fuel and save environment also.
The vehicles would be in a position to seamlessly go through, provided that all the vehicles which are passing through the this kind of toll plazas are having this facility in place. And then only we can expect a safe commute or a smooth commute for the vehicles.
The time save, the cost save, and the management by us by keeping so many records of the toll slips. Now we don't have to keep those manual works. So there is a single entry which goes and our work is being done.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Thursday held a pre-budget consultations with the trade unions and labour organisations, and during the meeting, the main areas of discussion included skilling, reskilling and upskilling of the existing labour force. The representatives of the business organisations shared their views and suggestions regarding labour and employment issues. Other issues regarding the quality of job creation and ensuring minimum wages of workers were also discussed in the meeting. Several senior officials, including Union Minister of State for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Anurag Singh Thakur, were also present in the meeting. And the government has contracted an additional 12,500 metric tons of onions from Turkey. Now, the latest contract of onions will begin arriving in India from mid-January onwards. The MMTC has taken the decision following the direction of Price Stabilization Fund Management Committee of the Department of Consumer Affairs. With this additional 12,500 metric tons, the total contracted onions so far for imports have gone up to 42,500 metric tons. A bulk of the contracted onions to the tune of approximately 1,200 metric tons will arrive in India before 31st of this month, which will then be supplied to various states in line with their respective demand. And this is likely to immediately reduce the prices and improve overall availability of onions. Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawarchand Gehlot on Thursday advocated the need for intensively propagating the teachings, thoughts and sacrifices of Mahatma Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar among the people. Participating in a lecture on the topic, From Mahatma to Modi, the Idea of India, Gehlot said that both Gandhi and Ambedkar were highly learned personalities. He said their way of holding non-violent protests during the freedom struggle against the Britishers without causing disturbances to the general public should be taken note of. Gehlot also highlighted his ministry's achievements, which under the Modi dispensation has created 7 Guinness records for the welfare of the disabled people.
अगर ये सोच सबके सामने जाएगी तो निश्चित रूप से आज का जो परिदृश्य हम देखते हैं, अपने आप को अंबेडकर जी का अनुयायी बताने के बाद भी अपने आप को महात्मा गांधी का अनुयायी बताने वाले हिंसा में विश्वास करने लग गए, जबकि न तो महात्मा गांधी हिंसा में विश्वास करते थे न अंबेडकर जी.
And now our special segment on environment and climate change. As the temperature of the earth rises, diseases are also changing their geographical boundaries. Mosquitoes and other carrier organisms that transmit many infectious diseases including malaria, dengue fever, chikungunya remained out of the economically developed and cooler countries. With the shifting temperature, climate change is tipping the scales in the other direction. Warmer temperatures increase the transmission of vector-borne diseases. Most affected are pregnant women, children. Climate change also helps waterborne pathogens like bacteria, viruses, and protozoa flourish in warmer waters and endanger human health. Let's get to the weather updates, and cold wave continues to sweep North India. Delhi recorded the coldest day of the season with the minimum temperature at 5.2 degrees Celsius, which is 3 notches below normal. Dense fog also reduced visibility in the morning at many places in Delhi as well as in Punjab and Haryana. Cold wave conditions also prevailed in Rajasthan, with the Vanasthali in Tonk recording the lowest minimum temperature. Most parts of Himachal Pradesh also witnessed dry and overcast conditions, with Kelong at minus 12 degrees Celsius, recording the lowest temperature in the state. In Jammu and Kashmir, Banihal in Ramban and Doda district are reeling under sub-zero temperatures. And that is the wrap on this edition of Midday News. We'll leave you with a look at the temperatures across the major cities of the country. Thanks for watching.